Hello and welcome to the D3 Energy live stream. I'm Greg Davis, founder of D3 Energy, and thanks for coming back and spending a little time with me today. So I want to continue discussion about the high-tech oil field and how technology and new drilling and completion techniques are leading to a new revolution, a paradigm shift back into legacy conventional oil and gas trends. So let me step back a little bit. Over the past 150 years, there's been nearly 1 trillion cubic feet, or 1 trillion barrels of oil produced in the world. And most of that oil that's been produced has come out of what is known as porous conventional reservoirs. And what does that mean? So, a porous conventional reservoir is one where there's lots of holes in the formation where oil can trap. So the more holes in a formation, the more oil that can be trapped there. And so most of the oil that's been produced around the world has been from conventional formations where there's lots of holes. And then the other part of it is where those holes are connected to each other. That's called permeability. So permeability is the ability for the fluid, the oil or the gas, to move from hole to hole and then ultimately to the wellbore. So conventional reservoirs that have more permeability and more porosity, more holes and holes that are connected to each other, the better. So those are called, higher quality rocks or higher quality formations versus tight formations. And what does tight mean? Tight means the holes are smaller and the connectivity is less. So less porosity and less permeability. Porosity is the holes where the oils sit in the rock. Permeability is the little channels where the oil can move and travel to a wellbore, whether it's vertical or horizontal. So most of the oil has been produced from these formations around the world. And only about 34% of the oil found and produced, so in these formations, only 34% of the oil in the reservoir is produced, which means about 65% of the oil that is in place is still sitting in these reservoirs, and we know where they are. And so the average conventional higher quality well produces about 34% of the oil in that wellbore, in around that wellbore. So there's 65% of this oil remaining. There is estimated to be 600 billion barrels recoverable with current horizontal drilling techniques and other means by which we can enhance production in these oil reservoirs that we know where they are. That's 600 billion barrels. And if we think about how much oil has been produced to date, the past 150 years since the beginning of the oil era, there's been 1 trillion barrels produced. there's another 600 billion barrels estimated remaining for us to get through some very simple techniques. And we call these high-tech techniques. But really, this stuff is off-the-shelf technology that has been thankfully developed over the past 10 to 15 years and refined by the unconventional drillers, the shale drillers, the horizontal drillers that hydraulically fracture these shale formations. That technology that was developed to get oil out of shale reservoirs that are really tight, they don't have much permeability or porosity at all. In fact, they are the kitchens, as we call it. The shales are the kitchens where hydrocarbons were created. And so many companies have gone in with great success, and America is benefiting hugely by massive amounts of daily oil production because companies have spent billions of dollars developing new technologies to drill horizontally into these formations and get the oil and gas to produce out of what we call crummy rocks or shale rocks. So that technology, that horizontal drilling technology, which it's great technology, but in the world of conventional, it has just now starting to be applied. And as I've said before, America is hydrocarbon dominant now. We are producing so much oil and gas today because of this unconventional technique revolution. We're producing so much oil, yet that technology has yet to really been fully applied to these conventional reservoirs. So a few companies are out there doing this, where they're going into these legacy trends here in Texas, Louisiana, across the country, and drilling horizontally into these tight conventional reservoirs. These reservoirs that still hold huge amounts of oil and gas, drilling horizontally and getting great results. And what's amazing about this is with low oil prices, the industry is so concerned about costs and how much it costs to drill a well, complete a well, acquire the land, put in the equipment. At $50 oil as it is today, we're always looking for ways that we can get more oil out for less. Well, in these legacy trends, there is tens of thousands of existing wellbores with equipment ready to be drilled horizontally. The cost of the equipment is there. It's already in place. The wells are there. And in many cases, you can just go back and cut a hole in the pipe, the liner in the well, and drill horizontally and test these conventional reservoirs. So again, these conventional reservoirs, when they're good quality rock, they have more permeability and porosity, they produce about 34% of the oil in place. These tight reservoirs, which people have drilled and completed in before, produce only about 15%. Just getting 10% more recovery with a horizontal well. Across the world, the prize is 600 billion barrels. Here in the United States, it's hundreds of billions of barrels. And this technology is now just starting to get applied. And it's waiting. It's right here. So, I want to say thank you for spending some time with me today, telling you a little bit about horizontal drilling into conventional tight reservoirs. The prize is there. My goal, one of my goals in sharing these videos, is to raise awareness about conventional oil and gas and the opportunity, the incredible opportunity that we have as a nation, as an industry, to continue to build our hydrocarbon dominance. And my goal is to raise awareness, to have people start talking about this, sharing information. I'm looking forward to sharing more information with you. I look forward to some of you in my audience who are out there, who are in the oil and gas business, who may know of more information out there. Information sharing is so important for us. In my last video, I talked about how scouting and getting a piece of information, helped my father find a big oil field, and he learned about that from word of mouth. So sharing information led to a great discovery, and that's how our business was. And now we share information and can gather information so much more quickly and efficiently with the internet and all these great data technologies. But now, I want to ask my audience, any of you out there who are in the business or not in the business, if you've heard about this is the place where I'm coming to share this information, and I'll be posting bits and pieces of information and articles that I uncover. I have some that I'll be posting tomorrow, but it's out there and it's happening. And just one other little fact, of all the horizontal wells drilled over the past 50 years, only 10% have gone into these tight conventional reservoirs. But it's starting, the momentum's building, but there's not a lot of information out there. So I ask for your help in gathering that. I will continue to gather it and ask you to stay engaged here. I love questions, ask any questions you want. I hope I can answer them. And I appreciate you taking time here. So again, the prize, 600 billion barrels, is out there across the world, and hundreds of billions of barrels are right here in the United States in these conventional legacy reservoirs. We know where they are, and applying just the latest of technology that's not even the latest and greatest. It's been used for the past decade, horizontal drilling and a little bit of stimulation. We can get hundreds of billions of barrels out of the ground. Right, we know where it is. So anyway, thank you very much for taking a little time to be with me today. And as you see, I've got my Astros hat on. Go Astros, and go Houston, and have a great day.